celebrate you guys. So we really appreciate it. We've done so much work in the community. You guys have dedicated so much time. And yeah, so we're just here to recognize that today. We're going to start, just to give everyone a heads up. Right now, Melissa's going to pass around a sign-in sheet. So have everyone sign in, including your guests. And then we're going to come up and we'll have you guys talk about your projects one by one. If you are in a group, we'd love to hear that. So you'll have your group all come and then you guys will talk one by one that way, okay? All right, any housekeeping extra, Ken? Okay. Well then, let's get started. I can start with one of my group.
I got the list.
Oh, we have a list. Okay, perfect. Oh, do you want to do? Okay, so actually,
Okay, I guess. Okay, so everyone is going to talk about their projects. Some people aren't all the way done yet, but we still want to hear what they've done so far and what they plan to do. And we are going to start without further ado with Monica Harwood. Come on up.
So greetings, fellow graduating ambassadors and guests. Greetings, fellow ambassadors and guests. My name is Monica Harwood, and it's been my honor to be a part of this program and learn a tremendous amount of air quality and Vallejo information. For my project, I chose to put together something similar to, as you can see, I'm wearing a Junior Ranger vest. So I'm heavily invested in the National Parks Junior Ranger program, and I like to earn these badges that you get for completing a booklet when you do activities. So my thought was incorporating artwork from Clean Air Claire mascot. That Natan is the creator and artist from a previous project. So I have designed, instead of a badge, these are hot off the presses. It was all I could do not to open them, but Jill is a button maker, so I used a program, and then she had a different program that added to and enhanced it. I created, it says, Soar with Clean Air Claire, and SOAR stands for Save Our Air Ranger. So we all want to be a SOAR Ranger here, you know, saving our air. And the way to earn a badge is I designed these certificates. Instead of a big Junior Ranger booklet, if anybody's done the park program, they're like, you know, a dozen or more pages. It's a lot of time. They're expensive to print. I did a one-page flyer, and everybody can get a copy of these. There's 10 tips below that people can do that we're suggesting. And what I'm going to be doing on June 1st, I want to invite all of you, if you can, to come to the second annual Bay Area Butterfly Festival on Mare Island. I'm going to be debuting the badges there to the public, and then after you read these tips, I'll ask people which one of our 10 tips can you do this week. They're going to write a number, and then they earn their badge. So rather than just handing them a button and having them go on their way, I want them to kind of be vested in thinking about the air and what we can do, and then they sign their name. So unlike a Junior Ranger where the Rangers sign your certificates, we're just letting them sign and date this, and then our logo's here with the website. So hopefully this will create more energy and awareness about air quality in our community. I want to give again a shout out to Melissa, who was my mentor for this project. She was so helpful. I just learned literally in April a program called Canva that helped me design both this flyer and the Citizen Air Monitoring Network licenses this program. So it was super interesting to learn about, and then I Googled questions to learn more. And I want to thank Jill for her designing of the final product on our cute little Claire badges. I think they turned out spectacular, so I'm hoping you all will proudly want to wear your buttons. And on the back there's the QR code, so we are like high-tech in it here. But anyways, does anybody have any questions? I don't know if I'm supposed to ask that, but I guess I will. All right, well,
I have
thank
a
you.
question.
Oh, sure.
Do we all get one, or?
And so my hope is, that we're all, right, we're gonna all get a button today.
You guys have to take the pledge.
You have to take this pledge and put which number you're gonna do, and I gave this week instead of saying today, you have a whole week to think. And the tips are all things that, you're probably doing them every day anyway, but yeah, so I'm gonna take one back to my seat to kind of hold and cherish right now. And then I'll fill out my pledge too. But thank you. Oh.
And here is your
Oh, my official
official certificate.
Oh, photo op. Thank you.
And next we have Lyta Hamp.
Hello, everybody. It's been a wonderful journey with my fellow ambassadors. It's great. The mission and passion of this agency is great. But I also want to say I have done some community work, and I really want to thank the staff and active volunteers, because this is really very well organized and run, and I so appreciated that, and it really helps maximize the work that the ambassadors do, and so I have to credit them for a lot of the accomplishments of the clean air monitoring. So thank you, everybody who's part of the support team. What I did is, so I asked myself when I thought about a project, I said, this is such a great project and more people should know about it. So that was my focus on my project. So I made a newsletter. And also, not only do I want more people to know about it who've never heard of it, I want all the people that have been working on it, all the different ambassadors, to also keep in touch. So this newsletter was really designed with that in mind. This is a printed copy, but I did make a digital copy that I posted with Canva with a QR code where people can go directly to it. I'll say a little more about that. But I also, when I have done newsletters for education before, and I like to make every page a single subject that can work as a flyer or a social media post. So each page is designed in that manner. So I'm hoping that some of these things will be useful for a while, not just a one and done. So that's kind of what I had in mind. There's also different things that this could be expanded upon. It could be translated into Spanish or Tagalog, which I would probably need assistance with. I hope to eventually get an area on the website to post all the issues. And then also all the graphics and information will be available for future ambassadors if they want them. I mean, most make their own, but still there'll be material that I hope will be useful. So the first one, I planned an event at Vallejo Earth Days. I thought that event was being planned with entertainment, shopping, and Sami joined me with the mobile monitoring outreach, and we did there. That was pretty well attended, a pretty wide group of people. A lot of people had never heard of us. We did get people who were interested in being ambassadors and signing up, and so I do think that was a successful event. And I have to say, almost half the people, I made a little business card with a QR code, and they took that instead of the printed ones. I mean, the printed ones are great, but they do cost a lot of money, and the digital ones are free. So part of my focus was to make it widely available without too much cost. So I was curious how that would go, and it's true that a lot of people would prefer the digital. So, and if any of you haven't seen it, the QR code is up here if you want to check it out. So the first page was just about citizens air monitoring. I got little clean air Claire there. I'll have to get Jill's improved design for the future. The next was Purple Air, and I was surprised some people never even heard of Purple Air, and so I talked to a lot of people about Purple Air, and that's got a QR code for that. And then I decided to focus on indoor air pollution for the Earth Days event because I wanted to kind of have something to draw people in other than just the clean air monitoring. So I provided something that I do is make and teach people how to make homemade indoor cleaning products. So on this page is recipes for that. And I made samples of one of the recipes and handed that out to help people be engaged. And I brought some here so you can take a couple of those, and then I have the recipe as well. So again, I also look in the newspaper of different ways to kind of catch the interest of a wide range of individuals, wherever their personal interest in air is. So I wanted to read. I am going to do 2 more issues, and then we're going to evaluate it and see how useful it is. And the next one, if any of you ambassadors in your projects can send me a little blurb about your project, I'm going to highlight the Clean Air Ambassador projects, and we can use that for outreach for the next cohort. So the next issue will be focused on that. All right. Any questions or anything? No?
I have one question.
We have a question.
Yes.
Sorry, did I miss if you can share it electronically so it can be shared like with
Oh, absolutely. You missed that. I have a QR code. I made business cards with a QR code, and it's posted through Canva public link.
Oh, it's a public.
I'm going to work in the next few months to get a spot on the website,
Okay.
but that's needs a little more work to get that all together.
Okay, but
yeah.
the link to the Canva can be shared with anybody?
Anyone.
Okay.
It's a public link. It's right here, and then I don't know, somewhere I have little business cards with it. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, quick. Did you get a picture of mine? I need one for social media. Congratulations. Okay, our next ambassador did 2 projects and is working on a 3rd. Come up, Maya.
Hi. Oh, okay. Hi. So, yeah, I did a couple projects. I've been working with CAMN for 3 years. This is my 3rd year, I think. Last year I worked for them. The year before that, my mom was an ambassador, so I was like, I knew about them. Yeah, and this year I'm an ambassador. So the first project that I did is they only have a Facebook page, and I wanted to reach a wider audience and a younger audience. So I started an Instagram page for them, and I'll be running it and posting twice a week, at least once a week. I have a very busy summer, but hopefully once a week. Air updates for Vallejo and just facts and things you can do at home to improve your air quality. And what else? Yeah, so if I forgot to say about that, I guess. So yeah, Instagram page. It's Vallejo Citizen Air Monitoring Network is what you have to look up, so it's very easy to remember. And then it's also here, Vallejo Air Quality. There's a QR code on my second project, which is just a little info sheet about how houseplants improve air quality. And it's going to be at the tabling event, and it's got some examples of houseplants that you can put in your house. That's where houseplants go. And yeah, and so the 3rd project that I am working on, hopefully I'll hear back from people soon, is doing an info board at Loma Vista Farm, because cows produce quite a bit of methane, and you can give them a seaweed supplement that reduces their methane emissions, and it doesn't affect their health at all. So we're going to try to get that at Loma Vista Farm to do a small scale version so that I can do an info board on that, and then the students who go through Loma Vista or the public can see it and learn about methane emissions, and maybe, you know, if the right person sees it, it can get spread to the bigger cow corporations. And yeah, that's about it. I guess, any questions? Is that what we're doing? No? Yeah, no questions. Thank you.
Rosie, come on up.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm here. My name is Rosie, and I'm here with my husband, my mom, my son, and my daughter. My project, or my goal is for the students that have. I work for La Clinica, and I am no work, but I am a volunteer, and I'm close by those students that come to the Clinica with asthma, and it's hard for them to breathe. So my goal is to educate more the parents, because sometimes I heard earlier that they don't know about the app, the Purple Air app, where they can check the weather before they send the kids outdoors. But I focus more on the inside, indoors, like what is the quality, the air quality in their rooms. So I focus more on that, and I gather some people, and I offer them an air purifier. And if they wanted to know more about asthma, how to prevent or not to end up in the hospital. So some things that I talk about is about how they can clean their house as well. Don't use chemicals that can trigger the asthma for the kids. Some parents don't know. They just use the chemicals. They think, oh, I'm gonna clean it with Clorox. That's toxic. And they, so that's my goal. I think I'm not done yet, but like have 8 purifiers I've been sent to families. So hopefully they will help their health in their house. Like I said, I'm not done, but my goal is to get maybe 30 out there, and that way I can help the families. Thank you.
Oh yeah, Jill and Kristin, there you are.
I think we're going to do two different reports. So one is by Jill, because I think we have some schedule conflicts, so they haven't been able to work closely enough. So I suggested to them is like, okay, they have done separately on the project, so they will be reporting one at a time. So is that okay?
Yeah, can we stay up here together? Because we did work together.
Yeah.
No.
But why don't you tell your part first and I'll explain.
So, my name is Kristin, and I work around a lot of artists, and so this was air quality in art, and was really when Kate invited me to be in this program. I was asked to do a project. I kind of was thinking about how can this relate to what I already do, and so I started thinking about the artists that I work with and the different types of materials and that they use and products that they use. And so that was kind of like the curiosity to start the project. So when I started thinking about different artists that I know, like photographers and painters and potters, and just different mediums that they use, what particulates are in the air, what is in the air when they're using certain products. So when I was doing some research and I was asking around, there was a friend that I'm close with. He's a painter, and I asked him about paints, and he said that the paints aren't the problem. It's the solvents. It's the solvents that are the problem. And so this was really to also bring awareness to the artists on what types of materials is safe around them, what they can use, how they can protect themselves. And so that's part of the project. And so it's still a work in progress. I know Jill had the VOC track, and so that was part of the project, was to be able to test different art spaces to find out what is in their air that they're breathing in. Do you want to?
Sure. So, my son is a painter, and so when I heard that Kristin, who, if no one knows about Vallejo Creatives, what is it called? I'm so sorry.
Oh, creative reuse of Vallejo.
So Vallejo Creative reuse of Vallejo is where people donate art supplies, and if you need art supplies, you can go in. So since both of my kids are artists and art majors, art is a big thing in our house, as are all the chemicals that go with being an artist. And so my son is a graduate, he's home, and his bedroom is now his paint studio. So when I heard what Kristin was doing, I was very interested, because when I walk upstairs, when his bedroom door is open, you can smell those paint fumes as you're heading up the stairs, which to me is a wonderful smell, but probably not all that healthy. And so we decided to work together because I had a space that I could do the testing in. And so I was very curious as to his art space studio, because a couple months ago I told him he couldn't even sleep in his room at night. I said, sleep in your brother's room, because he's away at college, and I didn't want him sleeping in the space that was so strong of paint fumes. So we worked together. We only got the equipment on Wednesday, and the assignment was due on Saturday, so we didn't have a whole lot of time to do a lot of the testing, which is why we still need to continue with that. But I did do several tests in his room. I closed up all the windows, and I turned off the air filter that's in his room, and I didn't let him in his room for like 24 hours because I wanted to go in there and get like a baseline and see what it was like just closed up tight. And then I turned on the air filter, and I did another test with just the air filter, and then I did a third test with the windows open, and then started doing some testing with him painting. And so this is a work in progress to finish doing all the data. But together we were interested in knowing how an art space and the supplies being used affect the artists within. And then our original intention was to go to a lot of different art spaces. We know that she knows a photographer, and we were curious what that space was like, and even a ceramic studio, because we know from our class that dirt affects air quality. And so we were curious about a ceramic studio, because it's, they're working with basically dirt. And so our original intention was to go to a lot of different spaces, but we just didn't have time because we got the monitor so late. But I think we're still kind of interested in maybe doing a little bit of that as well.
With Tree Bed Design, and they wanted us to come in. And so Kristin and Mike at Tree Bed Design, I spoke with them, and they want us to come into their studio and test the air quality in there. So it's a work in progress. We still have a lot of different artists, different mediums that we're going to test their spaces just to see how. So then, it gives them the awareness in how they can protect themselves.
I have a question. So it's a wonderful idea, Kristin, as well. Because, as a therapist, I've known a lot of artists, and now that I'm a therapist, I also am concerned about the neurological effects.
Yes.
I mean, as we know, they're artists are artists. I'm an artist myself, but not a painter or anything. And I'm just wondering, going way back when, a lot of the solvents, a lot of the paints, they haven't changed. Chemicals have not changed. And so, I'm wondering about the neurological damage.
Yes,
that
lot
how
of
that
exposure to it.
correlates
Yeah.
with mental health. So there's a lot of mental health disorders that come from neurological damage, of course. Traumatic brain injury is one. So I'm just really curious how that affects mental health, depression, anxiety. I imagine.
But those solvents also can create other problems too. I know that.
Health issues.
I know that.
mental-
Yeah, I know that. That was in part of the class when we were looking at the studies of different diseases, and
Yeah.
you think about it. Oh, kidney disease is linked to something, but there's a lot of diseases linked to air quality
Yeah,
that people don't know about. So that is something that, like, these solvents will cause kidney issues, liver issues, like all these other issues that you wouldn't think was associated with art supplies and art products.
And we're not going to be naive. I mean, artists are going to do their art.
Yeah.
And so, which is also a healthy therapy to do as well. So we went into this knowing that we were not going to, that we didn't want artists to not continue doing what they're doing, but our purpose was really to help inform them to know how to, do what they're doing healthier. And a little byline on that is that my son Keaton is a cancer survivor, and he was diagnosed with cancer when he was 5. And his father and I were both art students in San Francisco. We were both photography students. And in those days, we literally would sit in the dark room, and I'm an habitual nail biter, and I literally would have my fingers in the fixer and bite my nails and move it to the next thing without ever thinking about it. And the year we graduated, our very last class, we had to start signing a health waiver about being around the chemicals after I'd spent, 4 years ingesting them. And the day Keaton was diagnosed with cancer, the only thing I could think of was it's my fault because of all the chemicals I've ingested. And his oncologist, confirmed that no, that was not the reason, because that had been 10 years prior. But of course, that's what you think about is our unhealthy choices and how that might affect us or other people down the line. So I want him to continue painting, but as healthful as possible. So to be continued.
Groundbreaking.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Thank you both for sharing your personal connection to these issues and really putting your heart into this project. And I'm just wondering, a technical question, like what is the monitor that you got and how much does it cost?
So we had neither of us had any idea what this monitor even was going to be. And so
It's called a VOC track,
Okay.
and
it looks like a microphone is really what
Oh,
it looks
okay.
like. It's very small, it's about this big. It's a microphone that has a cord that you connect to your computer, and then there's software that it reads when you turn it on, you start it, it starts reading the what was interesting is it starts as ppb, so parts per billion, and then eventually it went down to parts per million, I guess, just when it got.
well, I think the problem, what we found out later, is that it has to be calibrated first. So, just like with Jill, just kind of trying to figure it out. And so that's what happened. And it looked like it was doing what it was supposed to be doing, but then it was like, is this accurate or no? So that's why we're still trying to figure out where to test. And then we want to test other spaces to see which is accurate and which is inaccurate. And just kind of, we have to experiment with it
Yeah.
still. Yeah, you only had it since last Wednesday. So
Yeah, done a lot already. Look forward to
Yeah.
But it's
hearing more.
interesting,
You want to, we have a special guest.
Oh my God.
You want, the question is because Nguyen worked for Biomonitoring California or something similar. So that's why all the specific scientific questions. So if you wanted to just give us a few minutes of introduction.
Sure, yeah. Gosh, but do we have more presentations?
Yeah, we
Okay.
have. But,
Okay,
but
oh.
this is kind of together with
Oh, okay.
a part of this.
Gosh, okay. Well, okay, thank you. Well,
have to put it up to your mouth.
Hello? Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. So, hi everyone. I'm Swen from the Biomonitoring California program, and we are a joint program with OEHA, where everyone knows Lily from the Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessment, and the Department of Public Health, the state department. And we do, so biomonitoring is monitoring of chemicals in people's bodies. So, you all are monitoring chemicals in the air, but we want to see like what's actually getting into people's bodies, and we are really interested in air pollutants, and they are tricky to biomonitor. Just to, even with just since last Wednesday, you know, with your equipment, just knowing what, you know, what's getting into your body, where you're going to find it, you know, what the time is to like look for it. So it is something that we have been working on. We have other chemicals like metals, which I'm sure you've heard about in your air monitoring, you know, journey. But it's, you know, metals can be found in lots of other things than air. So we have other like more well-established things that we measure, but like air monitoring is like a really exciting kind of like new thing that we're really trying to work out studies, and doing studies involve people. And so, you know, you not only give samples of urine and blood usually, but you answer a pretty detailed questionnaire that's related to the chemicals we're studying. So we'll ask things like, oh, what are your hobbies? Do you work with chemicals? You know, what is your job? Where do you live? You know, products you use, food that you eat, just anything that could be contributing to your exposure to the chemicals that we're measuring. So we went to get a representative sample of the whole state, and chemicals that are particularly of concern in California. So air pollutants are definitely a concern, and we're just, you know, we're planning studies. We do want to try to cover the whole state, which is, you know, a lot bigger job than like Rhode Island or something. You know, we're just trying to do everything at the same time because things change over time. So like measuring everyone, you know, all at the same time in the whole state is been a challenge. So we're working through that, but I love this community. I'm just right over the bay in San Pablo, and I'm so happy to work with Ken and with AB 617, and we just want to keep a relationship with you all. And also, if in the future you get a postcard in the mail, because we sometimes have to just do mass mailings, and it says, hey, are you interested in being in a biomonitoring study? I hope you say yes. So just so that you know who we are.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Thanks.
Okay, our next ambassador is going to be talking about the future, what they're going to do. Karl? Okay, not Karl. We'll do something. Our next ambassador, just kidding, is Somanette. Come on up.
Hello, so my name is Somanette, and I go by Sami for short. I started working with the Citizen Air Monitoring Network like a little over a year ago, so back in February, in an unofficial capacity as part of the Air Ambassador program then. And at that time, the reason why I had got connected with Ken is because I was concerned, along with many residents in Vallejo, of the odor issue in the waterfront communities. And so, yeah, I was hooked up with Ken then, and at that time, under his mentorship, I did some data collection, identified specific coordinates for where a specific odor was coming from, and found that those coordinates or locations coincided with like the elbows, kind of like the joining parts of the main sewer. Sorry guys. The main like sewer infrastructure here. And another thing that I had done was designed a community survey, a qualitative survey, so that we could find out how to characterize the odor, where it's coming from, when do people experience it, and things like that. So a year later, what I've really learned about this project is that it's very messy. I mean, it's like there are so many moving parts to identify about it. Like, I mean, all of the things that I had mentioned, but the community part and organizing ourselves, that is a huge, unexpected um, challenge and task for us. And yet, it's so necessary and foundational. So this year, I guess I had initially planned to do a tour, a community tour of the wastewater treatment plant. But you know, something that I guess is a theme about this is that people are so very angry about it. So I instead drafted a community action plan, so that way all of the community can be on the same page. We can kind of go over the history of it. How long has this been going on? What do people notice about it? And also, like, what are to identify actions that we can do, and how and in what order we escalate those actions. So those can be things like litigation, possibly, but the very first thing we can start with is working with the treatment plant, which is a huge asset to us as a community that they are working with us. Yeah, I guess that is my project.
Okay, Karl, you're up.
Thank you. Bye, Monica.
Safe travels. Hello, everyone. I'm a little, I wouldn't, somewhat behind, but I'm planning on completing in the near future kind of a compilation of what my expertise is in my everyday life, which is teaching about high performance building, which encompasses basically the connection is IAQ, is what we call in the trades, is indoor air quality, which is really, I think when anybody buys a house, they don't necessarily think about the indoor air quality when they're purchasing a house. And so I kind of use this connection because essentially, as Ken kind of mentioned, most of our homes, our indoor quality is the air quality around us. And so that really hit home. I remember purchasing in Vallejo, we were talking earlier, it was 20 years, no, it's 25, it's pushing 30 years. And I remember hesitating before purchasing here because I was concerned, you know, refineries and whatever, but then someone was saying, no, it all goes east. It goes up to Carquinez straight. Oh, okay, I'm good, we're north. With the wonderful weather and the air movement here, I never really thought about it, but obviously it is a concern, being one of the earlier purple air type folk. I was well aware, and then COVID hit and the fires and everything seemed to come together. So I think it's really, what I'd like to do is create a kind of a radio format or a podcast that we can have a link to. I have a lot of industry experts that our normal banter is, you know, what's new in monitoring, what's new in air quality, you know, assessment, and how can we improve our air quality? Well, that's being in control, and most of us in our homes as home buyers really don't have access to how we can control that environment. So I'm going to share my expertise through podcasts, how we can create a better, healthier indoor environment, and how to monitor it, but more importantly, how can we become in control of our indoor air quality. And it's, you know, it's involved, but there's a lot of things you can do to mitigate. Like, I love the whole project about assessing the impacts of VOCs and what we work with. So that translates into other things like what's underneath your kitchen sink, or or in your cleaning cabinet, or what furniture you buy or don't buy, your choices. And a lot of these things I think we know, but we don't really know because you can't smell it per se, but it is emitting. And maybe it's not a good idea to open a window, or maybe it is, right? The moisture in your bathroom, it's a good example. Maybe just installing the right exhaust fan, etc. So I'm, it's kind of what I do, and I would just love to start to synthesize it in a podcast that I can link and continually update. So that's kind of where I'm going. I'm appreciative that we do have a little bit of flexibility in presenting these. So maybe, hopefully, in the future, I'd have that for something. We're doing this next year, right? So hopefully sooner than that. But I like I said, I've been really busy with finishing up. It'll be on my podcast, and maybe someone from Moscow Radio can spur me on. Shout out to Dr. G. But yeah, and I'd just like to share, this has been kind of a wonderful experience with the experts that Ken and Melissa and Jimmy have introduced us to, and the kind of the galvanization of what we do in Vallejo, right? If you need something done, you gotta do it yourself, and the whole Bay Area air quality monitoring network, and having an impact not only in Vallejo but the whole Bay Area, because if we don't do it, who will, right? So I'm really want to thank our leaders, Ken, Melissa, and Jimmy. You're here, right? And Dr. Sada, and Jasmine. My goodness. You're hiding, so thank you.
All right, I'll be introducing my groups that I had the privilege to mentor. And the first one is, well, Edgardo is not here, but I will say a couple of words for Edgardo. So he actually wasn't an original ambassador, but he joined us maybe midway, maybe in our second or third training. And what I will say about Edgardo is, he stuck with us the entire time after, and he really was a helping hand. I think he joined maybe 4 to 5 different projects, so he beat our record. And even on the off days, on the weekends, he was out in the community helping everyone's project. So just want to acknowledge him. He wasn't able to be here today, but yeah, so Edgardo, woo! All right, this next ambassador, are you ready? I'm going to give you a heads up. This next ambassador, I just want to share a couple of special words. This is for Susan. I've had such an honor being able to be her mentor. I knew from day one when we first met her, she was already thinking about the project, and she's saying, when's this project going to be? And she had everything, she dotted her I's, crossed her T's, and she was just ready. And she had all of this energy, but she was also a little nervous too. And the funny thing is, one, she ended up being the first ambassador to complete her project, I think within the first week as well. And then 2, she knocked it out of the park with presenting. And 3, she also extended a helping hand in other people's projects. So she said, oh, I'm going to do this again, so voluntarily. So I just want to say thank you so much, Susan, and I'll let you speak more about what you did. But come on, see? Yep, this is it.
Yay, Susie!
I described it well.
My neighbor.
Hi everyone. My project was on the air purifiers and the air quality in your home and what could be done about it, and I learned a lot from it, and I forgot a lot about it. I don't know what to say.
Your lunch and learn. Who was there?
Okay, well, basically my family was there. My son, and my best friend, my daughter, and my grandson's girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend. But when I got the air purifier and I got it home, my son, he's a smoker. He smokes weed. And I noticed that I have a hard time breathing when the weed comes. So I turn my air purifier on, and within 20 minutes, I'm sound asleep. So it is like wonderful. I love that thing. It's actually really good.
And then how you helped Edgardo?
Oh yeah. I helped another one of our ambassadors. He doesn't like to speak publicly, so he asked me if I would read my presentation that I did before, and I kind of like tossed it up a little bit. I've added more to it. Like I added the plants, the indoor plants. They have, I found 15 online, and some are plants, some are flowers, and the ones that are flowers are actually very beautiful. They're really beautiful, and they do the same thing as the purifier does. So it was kind of cool to see that, and take pictures, probably. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm on those.
Thank you so much, Susan. One more picture. Thank you. This next ambassador is Leah, and she'll tell us more about her project. We were all her mentor because she's filling such a unique need in Vallejo that we haven't addressed, so I'll let her talk more about it.
I'm kind of behind, so I'm kind of like Karl, hoping that I can do my presentation and stuff a little bit later. My computer ate itself a few weeks ago, which kind of set me back quite a bit. But my project is pretty much focused on how people can protect themselves from issues in air quality, and there are kind of two parts to it. The one part is I wanted to talk about the efficacy of masks, because there came this point where for some reason everybody just kind of stopped wearing them and we don't really talk about it, and that seems kind of weird. And so I wanted to, especially because I know people who are disabled and immunocompromised and that kind of stuff, and some of them have really been feeling abandoned and left behind, because there was all this stuff in the news about how, the weak will just fall by the wayside, like they're just sort of getting sacrificed for the sake of everybody's convenience. And so I wanted to promote the idea that people can help take care of each other by, continuing to wear masks when you're in crowded places in public and that kind of thing. And so I had, a piece where I want to talk about how that can be helpful, how we've eliminated a couple of strains of the flu, and there's also other things coming down the pipe like measles and whooping cough, and tuberculosis is on the rise too. So there's a range of things that we can protect ourselves from. So that was one part of the project, and the other part has to do with indoor air quality and ventilation. And so kind of like there's the purple air map, there's another project. It's mostly populated with data in Europe, but there's a map called the indoorco2map.com, where people can contribute their own measurements for the level of CO2 inside of buildings, which tells you a lot about the quality of the ventilation inside and the risk level that you might be at for, for just whatever's in the air in that place, whether it's a disease or, other sorts of things like the stuff coming out of your your art supplies and that kind of stuff. The normal background level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is around 430 parts per million. And when you start to go over about 1,000 parts per million, it actually starts to impact your ability to think straight, which is also a major factor in schools and places like that. So if we can go around and make measurements of public places like restaurants, schools, gathering places, and put it up on a map, we can increase everybody's sort of awareness of the quality of the ventilation in the different buildings around town. And so I really wanted to promote that and get a hold of a device so that I can go around and start making those measurements. And so that's the other big part of my project.
Thank you, Leah. All right, we have Miss Sarah to come and talk about her project.
So, I'm totally in love with the air quality management network. I'm so pleased that I get to participate with you. And so I'm a tree nut. I'm a certified arborist, and if you look at this, the trees that are in this neighborhood, I think those could be redwood trees over there. Other than that, none of them are native trees. And in fact, originally, the San Pablo area was devoid of trees. There were no trees here. And so the majority of trees that you see were planted by someone. So back in the day, when Mare Island was first being developed, in the middle of the 19th century, it was the first shipyard on the West Coast, which was a major industrial endeavor of the time. They basically paved the entire west side of the island from no cost from Vallejo for shipyard, I'm sorry, my ability to speak quickly is disappearing with my aging. But anyway, they built all these dry docks, and then the next generation, in the 20th century, they developed Walnut Avenue for the officers' mansions, and then the next generation is the 20th century, where they developed 21st century, where they developed the west side of the island with Lennar, which is all housing developments. So we have a unique situation with Mare Island in that it is a laboratory where we can determine the ability for trees to mitigate pollution. Everyone agrees that that must be the case, but there's no data proving this. So I've set up a program that is going to, I have 5 locations where air monitors are going to be installed. 2 of them are in the the mid-century industrial area where there are no trees growing. Well, a few. And I have one location that is near where all the dry docks are that is spectacularly industrial. And then, and to find that location took some doing. It's because it is very industrial, and everyone's driving around these great big, forklifts and so on and so forth. And so I found someone who has a architecturally based art machine shop, and he was like thrilled to have a air monitor put on his building. And then of course on the south end of that, I found there's the Mare Island art studios, and artists, as we all know, are curious and positive about everything. So I want to be able to put a monitor on their building as well. Then the next building is on Walnut Avenue. And back in the 19th century, at the end of the 19th century, after the Civil War, the commandant for Mare Island was Commandant John Alden, and he was passionate for trees. He grew up in Maine, and so when he came to Mare Island, there were no trees, virtually no trees, and the wind was horrendous. As we're experiencing here, this is this breeze that is always moving here. This is greatly modified because we're surrounded by buildings and an urban forest. So just think what this would be like if they were all gone. Well, Mare Island is right on the edge of the San Pablo Bay, and all of the air, nature's amazing air conditioning system of moving cold air off of the Pacific Ocean down the Carquinez Straits to cool the Central Valley frequently can be up to gale forces. So Commandant Alden was able to convince the federal government to send trees to Mare Island. There had been a eucalyptus planted earlier by the homesteaders, and so he got all of those magnolia trees, which are some of the first magnolias coming to California, et cetera, and he planted them. He was mad for landscape. So then the officers' mansions had been destroyed during the previously worked ones had been destroyed in an earthquake. So at the beginning of the 20th century, they had all these fabulous wooden officers' mansions row, and he planted his magnolias and so on and so forth. And he made it very clear that he was manager of the dry dock, that if a boat had a tree on it, that captain would be treated very, very well. So he got fabulous trees from around the world. There's a avocado tree that's still alive today that is from Guatemala that's not supposed to grow here. So you can see that in the beginning of the 20th century, they were putting avocados in little jars and making avocado trees. Anyway, so then this phenomenon that he created was then turned into, he had this arboretum, and it then evolved into Alden Park, which is there today. So the building that I'm hoping, everyone's positive with the commitments. The monitors aren't on the buildings yet. So it's right across the street from the Alden Park. And so the question is, with our monitors, can we see, on a spare the air day, the industrial area has no protection whatsoever. It's concrete and air. On the other side of Alden Park, is there a reduction in pollution, air pollution that could be monitored? And so then we can with the arborists all say that trees mitigate pollution, but now we can prove this. And the final result with this, I hope, is that we can encourage people to plant trees to improve their air quality. And then further, so that's 3 monitors. The 4th monitor is at the Global Center for Success. That was, they have a community garden, and that was an area developed in the 60s. And then we have one other monitor that is going to be in the housing developments built by Lennar in the beginning of the 21st century. So we have a laboratory on Mare Island that speaks to different ideology of development from the mid-19th century when Vallejo was, the Cape Canaveral of the United States. They were going, they built the first shipyard on the west coast there, and this is where they could explore space, which was the Pacific Ocean. Then we have 2 world wars, Korean wars, and so on and so forth, and their infrastructure and then we can go on from there and there. So I think this is a really exciting opportunity, and my hope is that we'll come up with data that we can then share with the certified certified arborist community, and really have proof that trees mitigate pollution. So that's that. And then the last thing I want to say is I've done a lot of projects in Vallejo, and I'm just so impressed with the air quality. This has just been so wonderful and edifying. The whole degree of professionalism and generosity. I've done a lot of projects, and I provide food, but I can't believe the degree of professional respect and monetary advantage that this organization is able to share with us. It's really quite amazing. Thank you, Ken, and his fantastic staff. Yes.
So I know you for a long time. I don't know.
Yeah.
And she's a wonderful arborist. I mean, this woman knows her trees. This one right here. This is a maple.
No, this tree is a sycamore,
Okay, so
and this is.
These sycamores are, as you know, across City Park, correct?
Oh, they're everywhere.
They're right in front. Are they dying?
There are no sycamores. Oh, yes, they are. They're around the
Around the
park.
They're in front of on Louisiana.
Yes.
Are they dying?
No, these guys are fine.
Okay.
Their problem is that they would rather be in a less windy, warmer environment. So they get anthracnose, which is a mold, like our roses.
Right. That's what they have on their branches.
That's
Okay,
right.
Thank you. Just
They're
wanted
going to be
know
fine. And these guys are actually a 17th century hybrid that was a European sycamore. They ran into an American sycamore, and they made children that now cover the earth because they are the ubiquitous international street tree.
Thank you, Sarah.
Well, Sarah, stay up here. Sarah, picture. I just wanted to say, first, thank you for all the history. You guys just got a sneak peek of her fantastic report. So if you want to know more details, please read Sarah's report. And then also just thank you for making history here for our group and for our city with the partnerships you made with these businesses for the air monitoring. So just thank you once again.
Oh, well, thank you.
And now we'll take a picture. Okay? So here, you can open this.
Okay. I'm a little nervous.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Last but not least is a very special group. The one thing I will say about this group is they are a powerhouse, and it was so unsuspecting because this group, they came in every single week for training. They were in the back, they were quiet, but little did I know that they had everything. And there was so much that I want to say for all of us where we learned so much from them. So they know who they are. I'm going to let them come up as a group and talk about their project.
Hello, my name is Ronald. It's my wife Faith. This is Eva, and we've been quiet this entire time, but we're absorbing all the information. And what we did is we run an after-school program over on Mare Island, right across the street from our building, the Global Center for Success. And what we did was, in partnership with our after-school program, 2 Wednesdays ago, we invited the kids that come to the program, along with their family and their friends and their parents, to come and view this presentation. And what we did is I dressed up as Clean Hero Man. There's some Clean Air Man, sorry. We don't have a bigger screen, but hopefully you can see. So it was a little embarrassing, but it was fun. So I dressed up as Clean Airman, and it was great to see the attentiveness of these young people. And they actually knew a lot more than we thought. And we were able to talk to them about air quality, about pollution. They had many questions, they had many comments. And then at the end, and then we also told them and spoke about the importance of how we can even bring clean air into our homes. And it's through different plants. And so we shared with them NASA's study about the different plants and all these things that can help bring good air quality within their home. And Untitled was able to come up with an idea to make their own plants that they can put together and they could bring home. So there are some pictures here. Hopefully you can see them. This is a group. You can go closer. Yeah, we should have brought them. Sorry, we did not. But they also got little pins. It says, "Hi, I'm a clean air hero." And so these kids took these home and then also took home different pamphlets that you can kind of look at and see as well. Do you guys want to say anything?
So, as an agency, a Global Center for Success, we always think of how we can serve the community. So, with what we already have, the after-school program, of course, we want to start them young. We did the presentation outdoors too because we want to really get the attention of the kids. And also in line with that, as I prepared the materials, I really wanted the training to be engaging and interactive for the kids, something that they will really find interesting because kids, and you will talk about chemicals and all these things. Attention span is not really long, but during the training, because everything was translated in a way that will be more engaging for them, the kids were really just focused and interacting, and it actually, it would have been nice if you were there and you heard how these kids really talk and talk about how they also observe their environment and how they want to be ambassadors for clean air.
So, what we killed two birds in one stone. One of the things that we did was we upcycled a water container, which is the geyser, which has the least amount of chemical emission of the plastic. So it's a self-watering plant, and it was amazing because even the adults were so excited. So the excitement was so much with the information that one parent signed up to become an ambassador, so already signed up, and two more signed up. So we have four that are signing up, two that attended, and actually three that attended, and one parent of the kids. So that's how exciting it was. So they're looking for a next presentation. So we'll be continue doing this. The Global Center for Success is we do outreach to the community. We have partners. So we have another partner that signed up. They want to do the clean air. It would be the Seventh-day Adventist Church on, I think, Calusa. And then the other one is the new organization called Fourth and Second. They have a youth program and children's program. So we're already scheduled also to do that presentation. And the other one is we're still waiting for a Healthy Vallejo to contact us because we will be working on Healthy Vallejo is an organization that hires 14-year-old to the 14 to the 14 years old and 20 to 24 years old, and they're the one that got a grant to clean up the encampments when they vacate them. So our proposal as a partner, because we sign up a grant proposal with them, is that we will be working with them to plant trees or plants where they left off. So that's another program that we're doing. So we continue to reach out to the community, informing our partners and also our collaborative partnerships. So we're excited for that.
Also, the training was interactive because they were not just sitting, talking about what they know, but we also had a hands-on workshop where they created their own pots, the self-watering plants, that they were able to take home, and they were so excited because Mother's Day is tomorrow, and they said they were gonna take that home to for their mothers. Yes.
Thank you so much, Ken. Thank you so much, Jasmine and Lisa. Thank you so much. And of course, the reason we're here because of the Vallejo People's Garden. So we just want to continue to thank them because that's the plan, is really to educate the community.
Thank you so much. We're gonna take a picture. So guys, powerhouse group, right? Thank you from day one, just rolling up your sleeves and also just instilling and investing in our youth today. So let's take a picture with your certificate.
While we are preparing for the certificate, I wanted to say one of the things which impressed me a lot is because the slide, usually, for example, like today, if we are going to do the slide, it's not going to be very visible. But this group, they took their slide back to Philippines and made a fabric. So now they have a fabric version of the slides, so it can be used either inside or outdoor, which I think it's excellent, and that's what we want to learn. I mean, so we can do things also outdoor. Thank you.
Just making things more sustainable.
Right.
Mission driven.
Mission driven.
All right. Ready?
As you can witness here today, like I have excellent, our group has excellent staff support and also wonderful people like as ambassador. So that's why it's a joy to work with all of the people here.
Wonderful food.
Yeah, I think the food part, I think we need to give a lot of credit to Melissa. Not only she has her own cooking, like personal cooking service, but also every time she take care of our like food service and during our training. And as much as possible, she will also make sure that we take care of all different kind of diet restrictions. So that's food is, yeah, for sure it's one of our attraction, and thanks to Melissa. There are several things. I think Melissa and Jasmine, I think, are the most the staff which you see and interact the most. But also we have Jimmy here. Jimmy, a lot of time is behind the scene, and he's also doing a lot of the accounting, money part thing. I mean, he's in control. So he's also our co-founder. He's our co-founder of this group. So I want him to probably say a few words.
Thanks, and I'm really impressed with this group. This is great. So I'll just be all over the place here. First of all, when you ask about the air monitor that Jill has, that one costs about $1,800, $1,900. It's expensive, but the money came from UC Davis. It's a grant, so we bought it and they're using it. Second, Sarah mentioned the air monitor at People's Garden. That is a one and only, or first and only solar-powered purple air. I hooked it up to a solar-powered hydroponic system that I installed in there. So it's tapped into the battery and it's powered by a little car battery that was donated by a mechanic. I asked him, do you have any old batteries? And he said, there's a take your pick. So I got one, and it's been over a year, it still works. It's charged by a couple of solar panels that I got from Temu, you know Temu. They're real cheap Chinese source, and it works. And also the air purifiers, the one that we distribute, it comes with 2 extra carbon filters. It's like a sheet of carbon, and the purpose, well, those air monitors, air purifiers, use 3 different types of filtration. The first one is mechanical. It's HEPA, like the high efficiency particle filtration. It filters out 99.9% of particulate, including some bacteria. It also does chemical filtration, and that's where the carbon is. It's the carbon takes care of VOC pollution because it absorbs the bad things into the carbon. That's why it's important to stress to the recipients to replace that carbon filter every so often. I cannot say how long the interval because it depends on the use. If you use it a lot, you need to replace it more often. And some people, they just throw away the carbon. It's in that plastic bag, and they need to be educated. And the third is the electrostatic filtration. You can turn a switch off and on to do electrostatic, so it helps also attract particulates. What else? We talked about, one thing. What started all of this was, the catalyst was what happened behind that hill. They were planning a cement plant right on the other side of that hill. And that's how the people of Vallejo got galvanized into opposing it. And that's where I met Ken. I was in the group that, Fresh Air Vallejo, and I was in that group, and we needed somebody who was gonna do our website, and Ken volunteered to do it. And that's where we first met, the Panama Bay coffee shop. And that's where it all started about, 6, 7 years ago? And so that's about it. Oh yeah, this coming July, we're gonna have a windmill installation workshop, I guess, where we'll invite some people, including some kids. And it is it will be at the People's Garden. Oh, before I forget, on June 1st, we're gonna have a butterfly festival in Mare Island in conjunction with the People's Garden. And the reason I'm involved, I'm also the treasurer of the Monarch Milkweed Project, which is sponsoring that event. So please, if you have time, it's gonna be on a Sunday, 1st of June. It's gonna be in Mare Island. And that windmill thing, again, thanks to Temu, I got a windmill. And Vilma they're running the People's Garden, said, yeah, it gets windy in here. It's Mare Island after all. So we're gonna put one up, and it will generate electricity to charge a battery to power whatever. We still don't know. I think it's gonna be another hydroponics because Robbie, I don't know if you know Robbie Shankar, recommended another hydroponics. And there's also another group in Vallejo who want to do the same project in their garden here in Vallejo. So there's a lot of things happening.
Would it be possible for a windmill to provide enough power for a purple air monitor?
Oh, definitely.
Because for our house, we still need to get together to do
I know.
that. But we have so much wind where we are because we're on top of the hill.
Yep.
That might be an interesting
but
experiment.
it's just an experiment. But for something like that, I use those tiny solar panels. And a friend of mine, he gave me 10 batteries, lithium ion. I need to solder them together and all that, charged by a solar panel. That's another story. for some, like air monitors in remote areas or cameras. I gotta run pretty soon because my granddaughters are performing in Vacaville. Swan Lake, Venetia Ballet. I have 3 granddaughters and they're all in there. Venetia Ballet.
Thanks, Jimmy. Do you have any more remarks?
remarks before I?
Thanks. Actually, this windmill project is one of the things which our group is going to promote next year. First of all, we are, for this Clean Air Ambassador program, we got the funding for 3 more years. So this.
It's okay.
So.
She wants to know the source of funds.
Huh?
Who?
Funded.
BAAQMD, Bay Area Air Quality Management District. So one of the okay, so basically we are going to focusing on promoting our program to youth and also Spanish language speaking community member. Okay, so we thought, okay, for youth program, probably it's best if we have activity based. So this one is the windmill is one of the projects. Actually, I got this idea from a conversation between Dr. Trina Mackey and Jimmy, because Dr. Mackey said she heard about this. Jimmy's going to do this program, so she asked Jimmy, like, can I have my kids to join when you build this windmill? And I thought, wow, that's a good idea. Maybe I also have some other people from Vallejo which might be interested in doing this. So that will be our the next year we are going to have continue with Clean Air Ambassador program. So if you have friends you think they will be interested in this, please let them know. And also we are going to have a separate activity-based the program which is going to be focusing on youth and the Spanish speaking population. So that's so thank you very much everyone, and I will pass this back to Jasmine.
All good. Well, the cat's out of the bag. This was a 3-year grant, and we are on our 3rd year in closing. But because of everything that you guys do, all of the heart and vision you put into your projects, that really does get communicated back to our funders. And so with the help of you guys, we are able to continue this project for another 3 years. So I just want to thank you. We started, again, as strangers here in September. We're coming full circle, and now I just want to officially welcome you into our network. And I also want to say special thank you to a few familiar faces we have here. Thea here, and Leslie, past ambassadors to also welcome you. Oh, and the Tan right here, yes. Past ambassadors to also just come and show support and welcome you into this big family that we've cultivated together as well. So, and we have Clean Air Claire. Always has a tweet. Yes, so just closing remarks. One, if we want to keep this going too, and so we also want to say thank you to all the friends and family who also came to support you guys as well. Our group really believes in building personal relationships. We want to impact people's lives and their health, just, through the personal connections. And so that starts with friendships, that starts with our families, and hopefully we can continue that out to the broader community. So thank you as well, friends and family that came out here today on a busy Saturday. Yes, and the only thing left to do is to come back up here and take a picture now that we have our certificates. And we want to pass out the badges, Clean Air Claire SOAR badges.